Welcome to Daily Meditation with Sangha Live.
So as always, as you welcome yourself into the space and settle yourself into the space, let's give yourself a moment to feel the others here, beyond time and space, to tap into this shared space of appreciation and courageous bodies, hearts and minds, learning to settle and soften and open to life and love. So sensing into this shared field actually brings us more into the shared field. There's a suggestion that where our attention goes, energy flows. And a reminder that love is both always here and waiting for our participation in it. From one of the ceremonies in Peru, I had this very, very clear message and vision of the universe reaching out its hand, inviting me to step into the sacred dance of love, the way in which love flows in this endless creative dance. The universe reaching out its hand, waiting for me to reach out my hand, waiting for that volition, that participation, to step into the sacred dance. So over this week, we've been exploring the 4 foundations of mindfulness in a somewhat creative way through the lens of love, into practice of fullness, exploring how we step into that sacred dance, into love's sacred dance, through mindfulness of the body, fullness of the body, choosing to bring our attention with curiosity and care and wonder and awe and kindness and tenderness into this immediate embodied sensory experience. Like unhooking from the waves at the surface of the ocean and entering into the body of the ocean. And here in the body of the ocean, we begin to feel the tides that pull us towards and push us away in liking and disliking. The eddies of neutrality, of disinterest, and the naturalness of those movements and flows, and how it's possible to still be intimate with the movements themselves so we don't get caught into the reactivity of wanting and holding on to, grasping, accumulating, the reactivity of pushing away, defending, and the reactivity of searching for something more stimulating, more distracting. And so here means we remain in the ocean rather than going up to the surface and looking for what we think we want, defending against what we think we don't want. We remain in the ocean. And in the ocean, then there's the possibility of feeling also the currents that come and go, the currents of emotions and mind states. As again, they push and pull us, but remaining steady in the depth, we discover that the essence of the ocean, which is love, is able to hold those currents, to turn towards them. We find we can breathe into them and soften around them. And so that the love itself, the fabric of this ocean, grows in its own self-awareness as it's tested and challenged and expanded by these currents. And then we explored yesterday through the lens of the truth that the Buddha recognized that all things are influencing and being influenced by something else. And from that, the understanding that in fact all things are influencing and being influenced by everything else, indirectly and directly. And from that, the understanding that all things are in relationship, and that we enter into this relational field through stepping into this dance of love, with love, as love. That we truly enter into relationship by softening our hearts and opening our minds and inhabiting our bodies and entering into this flow of giving love and receiving love. And we explored how we can begin to experience and trust in this relational flow by noticing that we're already participating in it, by recognizing how for most of us there are already places in nature where we feel held and guided. For many of you spoke of an experience, the sense of being guided by and supported by guides, by benevolent ancestors. And if that experience isn't there for you, just this warm invitation to begin to explore it, to be in relationship beyond our more restricted sense of me and what I need and what I can get from you. And even just being in relationship to what is here and what I can see, be in relationship with what you can feel. And so what I'd like to explore today, because so often, particularly in a teaching of mindfulness and the four foundations of mindfulness, the teaching and the practice is limited to how we practice, what I do. And what has been underlying our practice this week, but perhaps we haven't explored explicitly, is this question of why we practice. Because when we leave that piece out, oh no, it may not be left out, but when why we practice is limited to its use, at least in the modern mindfulness movement, when why we practice is limited to focusing and calming the mind, both very useful and helpful intentions. But if the practice of mindfulness is taken out of its devotional, relational context, which was the context at the time of the Buddha, and limited to the mind, to focusing and calming the mind, then it's possible for the practice to be used in ways that are devoid of a sense of value and a moral compass. And that's the case today, that, for example, in both Britain and America, the military uses mindfulness practice to teach soldiers, to prepare soldiers for combat. In many big businesses, including Goldman Sachs and other trading companies, the traders are taught mindfulness to help them stay focused in sales. And all of these contexts are not bringing into account the impact and the value of whatever the impact on the wider field of the nature of the sale, the nature of the combat. So that when we remove mindfulness from this devotional, relational field, we're no longer participating in a deeper way in the flow of love. We're no longer holding at a deeper intention that willingness to reach out our hand to the universe as it reaches out its hand to us to step into this sacred dance. So this question of why you practice, this question of why we practice for each one of us is a really valuable one to reflect on. And what I will continue to explore with you today is the intention of practicing in order to come into the flow of giving and receiving, the flow of the way love moves, in order to align ourselves with that flow of giving and receiving that expresses itself as one Franciscan teacher described, Ilia Delio, as she described love's flow being the movement of between the lover and the beloved and the breath of love. I find that really beautiful. The way love flows in giving as the lover towards the beloved, who at the same time is also love. I mean, love flows in receiving, and also as the breath of love, just love being and giving, receiving, and being. And how can we, in each and every moment, love fullness of the body, love fullness of feeling tone, love fullness of emotions, of mind states, love fullness of the way of things, the nature of reality? How can we keep aligning ourselves with this flow of giving and receiving and being love? Be willing to ask for support directly with each other, with our teachers, with our Sangha, but also from nature, also from our guides and our ancestors. Be willing to offer our devotion back in turn. And be able to, over time through this practice, come to experience ourselves as this breath of love, to grow a deepening trust in that. And this feels to me to be particularly potent at this time, which seems to be a time, not just this week, but a time in general of probably in a healthy way, beginning to lose our, let's say, childish faith in being led. And it is a childish perspective to place our entire trust and faith in leaders, whether it's religious leaders or political leaders. And there's a natural movement as a teenager to a kind of disenchantment through the process of disappointment, through the process of recognizing the fallibility and humanness of those that we have placed as our saviors. This journey of disappointment naturally take us into one of growing self-responsibility, of recognizing that we're all in this together. And there's a empowerment in self-responsibility. And the self-responsibility is in fact one of stepping out of the othering that we see and witness and feel all around us. So rather than finding ourselves unconsciously perhaps sliding back into that same narrative of making someone or a body of people other, those people, that person, seeing how instead taking a breath and finding what would love do. How can I meet those feelings of disappointment, those feelings of blame or shame? Really hold them here in the body with so much love, so that love is once again available to ask deeper questions, to listen more deeply, to really feel into and wonder about another person or people's perspective, to sense and feel more deeply into what is arising here and what is needed here and what's hurting here. So that again, love's creative response is available to discover a new way within us and between us, a new way beyond war, beyond creating, beyond defending and displaying our ships at the surface of the ocean, a way that recognizes, in fact, each of us are waves within a vast expanse. When we remember ourselves to be waves in the ocean, we're liberated to rise up and express the unique creative wave that we are, in whatever small or large ways that movement shows up. So, friends, let's practice together this morning with that reflection of why I practice, and with the invitation today to step into the sacred dance in every direction that it shows up for you and for us. So, taking a soft, slow breath in through your nose, and breathing out with a sigh or a sound. Feeling into any tension in your body, and if there are any movements or stretching that want to come through the body to help wake up your body and wake up your breathing, feel free to do that. Particularly if we find ourselves to be in a state of agitation or shock, it's very helpful to lengthen the exhalation. And a very simple way to do that is to count repeatedly from 1 to 10, again and again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. And to keep counting from 1 to 10 until there's not enough breath left to count out loud, and then begin to whisper until there's no longer enough breath to whisper. And then for the last count, we count in silence. 1, 2, 3, until there's no more breath left and we felt the lower belly squeezing the last moments of breath out. And then we relax the abdomen. Just allow the naturalness of the inhalation to come back into the body. If you find that helpful, you could repeat it again. Or if you find that you have been brought into the body, into the belly, Just stay with the naturalness of this breathing belly, this breathing body. And then noticing the way in which we attend to the breathing. And choosing to imbue our attention with curiosity and kindness, with wonder, tenderness. I see you and I love you. Feeling the ground, like the parts of your body in contact with the ground are kissing the ground, greeting the ground, hugging the ground in gratitude, appreciation. For its solid yet soft presence. Inviting our exhalations to draw our attention still deeper into the ground, into the aliveness of the earth herself, and greeting this place like an old friend, this place that holds you right now. In gratitude for the ways that it has held you in the past, continues to hold you now. In steady love. And offering your love and appreciation back. Widening, perhaps, this love and appreciation to include a place in nature that is meaningful, where you feel a sense of connection. Feeling yourself held to by that place or those places, by the aliveness, by the luminous, intelligent warmth of the natural world. Asking to be held in this moment as you grow into remembering your place in the sacred dance. Including and inviting connection to any place in nature that brings a sense of perspective. Often it's the mountains, the high places that offer a sense of clarity and guidance. You invite that energy field, this place or places, into this space now with you. As you bow inwardly in deep gratitude and appreciation, asking for guidance to be shown the way through these times. And inviting also into this space a circle around you of your guides that you may have sensed and you may sense in your life. Any benevolent ancestors, protectors, and even your awakened self, already here beyond time and space, gazing lovingly back at you. Offering deepest gratitude. Offering your love. As you receive the love, support, holding, and guidance effortlessly offered in return. So within this circle of support, from below, from above, and from all around, Breathe into whatever's here in your own heart and belly. Give space and room to whatever feelings are here. The grief and the hope. The anger and the compassion. Remembering them to be currents in the ocean of love, sacred. Breathing into them with so much love. As they offer their gifts in return. Courage, compassion, and determination, resilience, trust, and equanimity. Meeting life just as it is with love. As love expands in return to meet life just as it is. As we choose again and again in each moment that we remember to step into the sacred dance of love, with love, as love. To participate in this flow of giving and receiving and simply being. This isn't a path that expects to be free of pain. It's a path that's willing to love pain as it arises and dissolves. So give it a home. And so as you breathe into your opening heart, Invite forward the presence of somebody you find it easy to love. See and feel them in front of you. And as you exhale, offer your love deeply, authentically, and witness them receiving your love. Feel how it feels for love to flow from your heart towards them. Feel the joy of that, the fulfillment of simply giving love to another. And then witness them loving you in return. And let yourself receive it. If it feels difficult to receive, then let that be loved, that place of contraction. Feel how it feels to receive love. And then, if you choose, you could bring someone forward who is a little more challenging to love, perhaps not someone who's deeply triggering to you right now, unless you feel very capacitated in this moment. So that you feel you can still remain present in this field of love, even in the presence of this being. And notice the resistance to loving this other. And turn your loving attention towards the resistance in you. Not needing it to go away, just offering it love, feeling the resistance in your body and offering it love. Appreciating the way it's simply defending you. Appreciating also that behind every defense there is hurt. Breathing into the hurt as well. Letting both the hurt and the defense, the resistance, be in the space between you and this other being. And recognizing that love can still flow. wherever it's ready to flow, to embrace the hurt, to embrace the resistance. So that the resistance doesn't need to be here quite so firmly as a wall between you. When it recognizes that the hurt is already being held and protected in this field of love. And so that in the steadiness of your own loving presence, it's a little more possible, perhaps, to listen, to wonder and be curious. To wonder as to the hurt, the confusion, the uncertainty that might be there, however hidden behind actions that you find painful or threatening. And to remain in our field of love regardless. Loving what is alive here in this body, in this moment. Loving what is true. And remembering now as we take a deep, soft, slow inhalation and breathe out with a sound or a sigh. Remembering that we are not alone in our commitment and devotion to living in truth and to living in love. To feeling ourselves once again held from the earth below, from the stars above, from our guides, ancestors, protectors, and awakened self from all around. And feeling ourselves held beyond that field, in and by and from our community of like-minded, opening, hearted, grounding, embodied beings. And sense once again this community right here, right now, in whatever time or space you find yourself. And offer love out to each and every one present in this moment, wholeheartedly practicing, stepping into the sacred dance of giving and receiving and being love. Offering love to this circle that encompasses the world. in this moment, over 100 beings, the powerful circle we create together. And knowing that in this moment you are being offered love, given love by so many others. And so allow yourself to receive, to feel the strength of receptivity. So that as each of us stand and sit and lie down and walk and move through life, in our own commitment, be in alignment, to move beyond this state of childhood, of blame and shame, of savior and villain, to move into our own adolescence and mature beyond adolescence into adulthood, of self-responsibility. So we are doing this together. So feeling yourself now, for these last few moments, the breath of love, which flows effortlessly between lover and beloved. The breath of love, held inextricably within the ocean of love. These are words between Frodo and Gandalf in The Lord of the Rings. I wish it need not have happened in my time, said Frodo. So do I, said Gandalf, and so do all who live to see such times. But that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given us. And these are the words from the chorus of a song sung by the band Mammoose that has been just threading through me through these last days. And the words of the chorus, and I'll share the song later. The words of the chorus is, "It is time, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning, we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning, we shall learn to lead in love." Thank you, friends, for being part of this field. And what a time to be alive. In this great turning, we shall learn to lead in love, to lead in love, to live in love. I'm reminded as well that Thich Nhat Hanh said once that perhaps the next Buddha would not be an individual, but would be the collective. A collective of softening hearts and opening minds and grounding bodies, choosing to take responsibility, choosing to step into the sacred dance of love from this embodied, immediate moment now. Lots of love to you, Kate.
Today's podcast is an offering to you from our archive of freely available live daily classes. We make wisdom teachings and meditations as freely available as possible to as many people as wish to practice. You can help ensure we can continue to support a worldwide Sangha by leaving a review wherever you get your podcasts, by sharing this with someone who'd be interested, and by offering a small financial support at sangha.live/donate.